Shana chicos. That's right. I'm still saying that, even though, yes, I have quit Spanish. I guess you could say I'm taking an indefinite periods break from Spanish, but it's not as bad as it sounds, okay? It's not like last time, like with French, where I am just not going back to it. That was 3 years ago. I'm probably never looking at studying French again. It's not like that. In fact, I'm extremely excited about this change, and I'm here to talk about why it's happening and what has led up to this and what I'm doing instead. Also, just so you know, YouTube channel members of this channel, I call them the Tim Tam Cartel, they got to see this video 3 days early, and it has bits in it that are not in the normal YouTube cut, and that goes for most of my videos, and all of that is only $2 US a month. You can become a Tim Tam Cartel member by clicking join. Anyway, this video is divided into 4 short sections, and they are as follows. 1. Is language learning your highest priority, and should it be? 2. Are you willing to do what it takes to make your life happen, even if it means not doing something else? Part 3, I am willing to do what it takes, and that is why I'm doing this. And part 4, my insane pursuit over the next 3 months and why you should care. So part 1, is language learning your highest priority, and should it be? And I feel like if you just sit and ponder that question for a second, you don't really need me to say anything else. I can't answer that for you, obviously, but I can answer it for me, and in doing so, start to explain what's happening with my Spanish over the next couple of months and why. I've come to the realization over the last few months that these videos and language learning need to stop being my top 2 pursuits, because I'm pretty overweight and I don't like it. And I specifically mention that I don't like it because with my genetics and my current weight and appearance, it's not at the point of embarrassment. It's not at the point where someone else would look at me and think like, well, obviously you would do something to change that if you could. But as I said, I just don't like it. I would change it if I could. And the thing is, I can. Which brings me to point 2, which is, are you willing to do what it takes to make your life happen, even if it means not doing something else? I can, without a doubt, change my physique. And in fact, in comparison to learning Swedish to the level that I have from here in Australia, changing my physique is child's play. Like, you'll notice a lot of these productivity YouTubers and business owners and things like Matt Diavella, Joey from Better Ideas, Stefanovic, Captain Sinbad, Lana Blakely, even Chris Williamson, a lot of them, they started their whole kind of upward spiral into better productivity and better habits and everything from just starting to get in shape, because it's the simplest thing that you can start doing that yields the most obvious results. So for people like that with that kind of level up mindset, it's just a no-brainer. But the reason that I've not managed to do it so far is that I just haven't been willing to do what it takes. Like, of course, I've always wanted to be in better physical shape. Like, who hasn't, right? But whenever it comes down to the actual choice of like, do you eat or not eat that extra slice of pizza? Or do you finish off that packet of Tim Tams even though there's 3 left and that's really too many Tim Tams? Or do you have your 3rd coffee of the day even though you have milk and sugar? Whenever it has come down to that, I've always just taken the easier option. And that easier option becomes even easier again when I can tell myself that my field is the academic, right? I'm learning Spanish. I'm on my way to become trilingual. Who cares if I'm a bit fat? And so over the last 4 years that I've been making videos about language learning, that has just become the perfect excuse of like, as long as my brain is intact and I am sharp in terms of learning Swedish and learning Spanish, it doesn't matter what I eat or how I look. But the whole time, I've known that that isn't really true, and I just didn't want to face up to the reality of what I would have to do to be in better physical shape. Which brings me to point number 3. I am willing to do what it takes. Now that I understand what it will take, I have really pondered and considered what it is that is holding me back from getting a better physique. I've decided that I am willing to do what it takes. It's just that there are going to be costs. Now, my former self, and I mean even like 3 years ago, would have said, that's the game. Like, the costs are the game. Screw the costs, go all in on one thing, make that the only thing that you have to worry about, and then it becomes easy. And I think that's great advice for a lot of people who are unnecessarily scattered in their pursuits. But for people like me who are already reasonably focused in their pursuits, but also have things like a young family, a mortgage, it's just a dream that I don't really have access to. That would be like telling the overweight person who can barely pay rent that they should hire a personal trainer. It's like, yes, of course, a personal trainer would be great, but I just can't do that. I do not have the luxury of going all in on something like fitness right now, but what I can do is to consolidate my goals, and that is what my putting a hold on Spanish right now is about. I will be, as much as is possible, going all in on fitness and training. And of course I could combine that with Spanish study by listening to Spanish while I run or while I prepare nutritious food. But for a few reasons, I've chosen the pursuit of better Swedish to be complementary to my fitness and health goals. There are actually quite a number of reasons, so I won't name them all here, but I will name the one that I think is most relevant. It's primarily about my level of experience in one language or the other compared to my level of experience in fitness and training, which is minimal. And one of, not only, but one of the hurdles to jump over in order to become a fitter, healthier person is just knowledge, right? Like, you listen to two people who know fitness well, like say two personal trainers, talk to each other. There's this whole wealth of knowledge there. They have this whole other language almost that they talk to each other with. They have certain concepts synthesized down to like one word. And I don't need to learn all that in order to become healthier, but it's going to help. And I don't want to be a low-level student in fitness and health at the same time as being a low-level student in a language, which is Spanish. Of course, I could also learn Spanish at the same time as learning how to run faster, eat better, lift heavier, whatever. But because I'm choosing to focus on my health, I don't want Spanish to be there as an excuse to open the M&Ms every night. Spanish still tires me out because I'm not that experienced in it, and that makes me more likely to be lazy when it comes to nutrition or just hitting the gym. Whereas in Swedish, I love that the gym for me has become an excuse to just listen to stuff that I enjoy in Swedish. I like listening to books in Swedish, and thus I like hitting the gym, or at least it becomes a more attractive prospect when I get to listen to stuff in Swedish. And with that, I move on to point number 4, which is my insane pursuit over the next 3 months and why you should care. I have come to believe over the last couple of years that almost everything is about how you frame it. That's pretty vague, I know. Let me explain. The director, Guy Ritchie, great film director, he has the hobby of winching. And yes, that is what it sounds like. It's winching cars out of helpless positions that they can't drive out of themselves, using a winch and other related tools, I guess. And there are whole groups of people who are into this hobby. Just to be clear, we are talking about cars that have been deliberately driven into positions that they couldn't get out of just so that they could be winched out by these winching enthusiasts. And about that, he says, it seems ridiculous to get a car stuck deliberately just so that you can winch it out. But what can I say? It's a lot of fun. And I'm sure that if I went along to one of these sessions, I guess you call it, with these other winching enthusiasts, it probably would be pretty fun. But if someone offered me a job doing that for a living, even if it was quite well paid, I'd probably say no. My point being that an activity that is boring or even downright unpleasant can be identical to one that is exciting and awesome. And the main thing that has to change in order to go from boring and unpleasant to exciting and awesome is the circumstances that surround it. I have never liked the idea of eating to a calorie limit every day or eating nutritious foods simply because they are nutritious, or basically anything that doesn't allow me to eat just what I want every single day. I've never liked that idea. But I do like documenting challenges and making videos about those challenges, and they are always fun. I have spent an entire day on Anki. That was fun. Wouldn't have been if I wasn't making a video. I watched the same film 50 times in Spanish. That was fun. I got up before 5 a.m. for 90 days in a row. And in all 3 of those challenges, I surprised myself. But this next one is quite a lot more challenging than those others. In fact, it's so ambitious that I'm not sure it can be done. So we'll see. I want to see if I can lose 9 kilograms in 10 weeks. And for the people who don't use metric, not looking at you, USA, that's 20 pounds. So it's 2 pounds a week. Now, I know that some people watching will be going, dude, that is way too fast. You're going to burn out, blah, blah, blah. I get that it is twice the recommended rate of weight loss for most people. I understand that. But I actually lose weight quite easily, okay? The only reason that I put on weight and have been putting on weight for the last couple of years is that I regularly consume the daily calorie intake recommended for like a small suburb. So we'll find out, but I believe that if I fall well short of the goal, it will only be because I didn't stick to the plan. So there will still be videos, and yes, they will still be about language learning, and I'll keep making videos about language learning for you guys. But for now, you will not hear me speaking Spanish because I'll not be working on my Spanish at all, because for the meantime, I need to focus on something that is más importante. Get it? Más importante. Sorry. Plus, there are some other changes in the works that should lead to more videos, higher quality videos, and more often. And I will see you in the next one when I am hopefully fitter, faster, and more fluent in svenska. That was even worse than the first one. So yeah, as you can see, this video is descending into horrific territory. The next video will have some better jokes for you, I promise. And until then, lo quiero.